What's up, Facebook? Recovery Fitness going live. Happy Hump Day. We are in the middle of. You guys are doing all right. Decided to come outside today and get some sunshine. It's a little chilly, but it's not too bad, and the sun feels good. Wait for some more of you guys to join in here. Hope everyone's doing okay. I like doing a little check-in with you guys, so please feel free to comment what you've been up to, how you're doing, what you are spending your quarantine time doing. I see a lot of funny videos out there, people making the most of their time, getting creative. I recently discovered TikTok yesterday, so learning how to use that, but also watching people create really funny videos, so that's always entertaining. Plotting how I can create my own TikTok. Also having the realization, which I kind of found amusing, but realizing that as a millennial, I'm no longer the youngest generation, and then I didn't really know what TikTok was. So then I had to Google how to use TikTok, and that made me feel a little old, but it was kind of funny at the same time. So I hope you guys are at least finding some funny moments in your days, whether it's enjoying the company of family at home or people that you are quarantined with, or whether you're finding funny videos online. I think it's really important to have a little bit of laughter in our days. I was able to share a few TikTok videos with some other people in a meeting this morning, and we all had a pretty good laugh. Good way to start off April. Happy April Fools. I don't really ranks for you guys. Sorry. So, being that it is the beginning of April and beginning of a new month, I was kind of having the realization yesterday that I was feeling very stuck with my videos lately, but I didn't want to stop doing them. It's really important for all of us recovery crew to continue to engage with you guys and continue to connect. But I've really been feeling stagnant in these videos. I love the book that I have been reading, Outrageous Openness by Tasha Silver, so I want to make sure that I'm still giving her credit for that title. But I love the idea of still being outrageously open with you guys and for you guys to be outrageously open with me. But I was hitting this point in my videos where I'm like, I love these readings. I have read through them before. And what I was really focusing on, especially the last week, is really pulling the deeper meaning out of those out of the readings that I'm doing with you guys. And I'm finding that they were just becoming really redundant and kind of stuck on repeat and kind of talking about everything that's going on with COVID over and over and over again. And, while it is important to talk about our struggles as we are all in this new time together. Oh, hello, Ro. It was just feeling like it was really redundant, and I felt like I was really reaching and maybe just not being my true, genuine self because, again, I was just reaching for something to share with you guys. And so, I had someone point out, well, I've been struggling with this for a few days, and all of a sudden the timing is kind of lining up in that way, and the universe is kind of pulling that. It took until today, the first of the month, to make the decision that I'm going to do a different book discussion for the start of April. And, still continue to be outrageously open with you guys. But I felt like I just needed a change to switch something up. The discussions are going to remain the same, and I still really encourage you guys to join in with me, to please comment. That is my absolute favorite part, is seeing who's popping in on here. Kirsten just joined. What's up, my dude? So I really want to still engage in conversation with you guys, but I'm feeling a little bit more charged up today to start something new. But again, the concept is going to remain the same, and still trying to connect and keep that positivity flowing with you guys. So one of my friends shared this book with me this morning. So this is actually called Tribe of Mentors from Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss has a couple other books, The 4-Hour Work Week. That has been a pretty popular book. So this is a really interesting concept. I started flipping through some of this stuff this morning, and so the idea of this particular book Um, I won't get into the whole background today. I would like to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but basically Tim Ferriss, I was kind of just reading this. He had all these questions for himself, really. Um, what if I assembled the tribe of mentors to help me? So what he did is he sent an identical set of 11 questions to some of the most successful, wildly varied, and well known people on the planet, with answer your favorite 3 to 5 questions, or more if the spirit moves you. After hitting send dozens of times, I clasped my hands to excited writer's chests with bated breath, to which the universe replied with silence, crickets. For 12 to 24 hours, nothing. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And then there was a faint trickle through the ether, a whisper of curiosity and a handful of clarifying questions. Some polite declines followed, and then came the torrent. Nearly all the people I reached out to are busy beyond belief, and I expected I would get short, rushed responses from a few of them at best. What I got back instead were some of the most thoughtful answers I'd ever received, whether on paper, in person, or otherwise. In the end, there were more than 100 respondents. So he kind of gives a little bit more background on that. But so what he did is he sent out these 11 questions to, there's a whole list in this book of all the people that he sent it out to. So I kind of went through and picked out one of the 11 questions that kind of stood out to me today. And then I'm also going to read, I'm going to pick one of the people that he sent it out to so you can hear their response. I'll talk about mine, and I'd actually love to hear your responses too. So one of the 11 questions, so today I picked number 4. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, getting a message out to millions or billions, what would it say and why? It could be a few words or a paragraph. If helpful, it can be someone else's quote. Are there any quotes you can think of often or live your life by? So I want to pose that question to you guys before I go ahead and read this person's response and give you mine. So the question really is, to shorten it, if you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, getting a message out to millions or billions, what would it say and why? What would be on your guys' billboard? Again, it can be a quote, a favorite quote of yours, or just your own saying on there. I'm curious. So I started flipping through the book, and give me a second here. So I actually went and flipped through to Tony Hawk. I would guess most of you know who he is, but if you don't, Tony Hawk is arguably the best known. He was the first skateboarder to land the 900, a 900-degree aerial spin, which he did at the 1999 X Games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater video game franchise is one of the most popular in history and has surpassed $1.4 billion in sales. I didn't even know that. That's kind of cool. Sorry. Tony's other enterprises include Birdhouse Skateboards, Hawk Clothing, and Tony Hawk's Signature Series sporting goods and toys. The Tony Hawk Foundation has given away more than $5 million to more than 500 skate park projects throughout the United States, which serve more than 4.8 million kids annually. So that's just a little bit of background on Tony. So, keeping with the billboard question, Tony, that was one of the ones that he responded to. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say? And Tony Hawk's response was, short and sweet, which I like, skateboarding can change the world. Enjoy the ride. That's it. Short and simple. And I kind of love that, Enjoy the ride. And I think, I don't know, it makes me kind of look back at my own life, looking back in moments where, I've been too serious or take life for granted and not really paying attention to what's going on around me. So that kind of led me into some deep thought today, which was good. It's for a while with the readings that I was doing, I kind of stopped giving thought to it. I wasn't paying attention to the readings as much. I was just kind of reading them as I go and letting them speak to me, which is great, but I wasn't really prompting too much thought into it. So what I loved about this is it actually made me think today. if I could have a giant billboard anywhere reaching millions of people, what would it say? Um, and I had to really think about that. I'm like, oh, are there any quotes that I live by, or any of my own words that I live by? And sure, there's a whole bunch. For me, I guess one of the obvious ones I think of, there are so many like overused cliche quotes out there, and part of me gets really annoyed with them. I'm like, oh, everyone's heard this a million times, but there's a reason they're so overused, right? Because they connect with people and they work, and because they're simple. So if they're simple, it helps people remember them. So I guess on my billboard, I had to kind of sift through some things in my head. I had a whole bunch flying around, some really obvious ones. But the one I ended up kind of going with was kind of in line with Tony's. Of on my billboard, I would have "Stop and smell the roses." Again, one of those overused cliche sayings, but to me, I just love that. I love the idea of being able to slow down and just, like Tony says, enjoy the ride. Um, I think so often, especially in my own little world, not current COVID life, quarantine life, but in my normal life, I'm a very busy person. I intentionally keep busy. It helps me stay out of trouble. But there's also a lot of things I engage in my life, so which do keep me busy, and that's a good thing. Um, but for a while, kind of recently, before all of new quarantine life was happening, I would find myself being overly busy and not slowing down. I would find myself jumping from one task right to the next, without thinking before I go into the next task, without seeking guidance before I go into my next task. And I was just going, going, going. And while that's an okay thing, it is good for us to stay busy. It's good for us to not be a bump on the log forever. It's good for us to get up and get out and get moving. Absolutely. I wasn't noticing the world around me. I was getting very caught up in my tasks, my work, and, forgetting to notice the little things in life. And so while everything is happening right now, the universe is really just forcing every single one of us to just slow down, right? The universe is almost forcing us to stop and smell the roses, so to speak. Um, and some of us are struggling with that. I've talked to a lot of people who are struggling with the boredom right now and the downtime, sure. But for me, I've been able to find these little silver linings in each one of my days. I'm still staying busy working from home, and I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to do that, through Rock Recovery Fitness, and even staying connected with you guys. But I'm able to slow down, and being at home, being kind of quarantined in the same spot, like I'm able to, if I need to step outside for a little bit and just sit in the sunshine like I am right now, whether I'm on video or not, I can do that. If I want to come outside and play with the dogs, or go for a run, or go jump in the hot tub, have that luxury of doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I can do those little things, and in doing that, I'm able to kind of pause more than I ever was before. I wasn't taking time to do those little fun things here and there, even if it was just something so simple as just sitting outside and, like, literally, smelling the roses, or just feeling the sunshine, feeling the warmth of that on my skin, like I am right now. It feels great. Um, I think in a world of today, like, the way our culture is, we are just programmed to stay busy, 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 and multitask like crazy, right? We're always juggling the phone and doing 5 different things on our phone while making dinner, or taking care of the kids, or doing all, working constantly. Um, Sometimes we don't slow down, and I think when we don't slow down, we miss the little joys of life. You know, um, so that's what would go on my billboard, is "Stop and smell the roses." So I would love to hear from some of you guys. What would go on your billboard? Again, it can be one of your favorite quotes from somebody else, or in your own words. I'd love to see you guys write in and tell me what would go on your billboard. I love these. We'll start going through some more of these questions from Tim Ferriss. Um, and kind of seeing some of the other people that wrote into him that he put in this book. Some of the questions are really great, but they're very thought provoking too. So I encourage you guys to still be open with me. Open up, like, let's share in discussion. I would love to see what some of you guys' response to these questions are, you know. Lisa says, my billboard would say, a clumsy, my billboard, a clumsy giraffe doing a pirouette. We all can dance when we find the music that we love. Hashtag acceptance, hashtag find your passion. This is from a children's book that is the motto of my life. Oh, sorry, I got lost. It reminds me that everyone is perfectly imperfect and has something they are here for. We are all a unique gift to the world, and it's our job to honor our gift and to see the gifts of others. When we find our special tune, we can finally dance. I love that. And you guys can just picture that too. A clumsy giraffe doing a pirouette. You know, it's kind of awkward, it's clumsy, it's got its long neck, probably like tangled up everywhere. That's just kind of how I'm picturing it. But I love that, right? And there's vulnerability in that. There's vulnerability in finding our own special tune and finally just like letting go and dancing like no one's watching and dancing like you don't care what people think. And you know, that allows us to just be our genuine selves, right? As Lisa said, you know, we all have our own gifts. We do. I genuinely believe that. You know, I believe that there are talents and gifts and passions that lie inside of every single one of us. Um, and for a long time, you know, I stifled those passions and those gifts that I had. I stifled that, you know, with my addictions and really struggling with that. I really lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore, and I certainly didn't take the time to act on my passions, to stay, you know, to keep my art and my music alive. I didn't. You know, at some point, I really lost myself in that, and, you know, my addiction just snuffed all that out. And one of the gifts that recovery has given me is I'm able to find those old passions again, but also be able to create who I am today. I get to create this new person. This is the greatest gift. You know, there's one of my silver linings right there for today. Like, having that realization again that I get to create my life today, you know. Um, you know, I love that everyone is perfectly imperfect in our own little ways. You know, what ways are you perfectly imperfect? What are your little gifts and talents? What are some of your quirks that make you unique? You know, pay attention to those. Hang on to those things. So Nikki writes in, I can relate to going, going, going. I'm always so busy with work and parenting. It's been so easy to not sit with myself the last 5 years. This unplanned cut in work hours and my daughter being home has forced me to sit. I've been really struggling with this, but today I'm sitting outside, enjoying the sun, and was like, this is nice. Awesome. Yeah. And Nikki also says, so I guess my billboard would say, even while sitting, you're still growing. I love that. I absolutely love that. And that, you know what, that really couldn't be any more true. That's so great, Nikki. You know, even while we're in this new life, right, we're talking about how we're all constantly having to adjust, right? All of us are on that same playing field of having to adjust to a new way of life. Hello, Ro. And you know, for some of us, that means learning to sit still. For some of you parents out there, you know, you're home with your kids constantly. I'm sure some of your children keep you very busy. I know I've talked to a few of my friends who do have kids, and and they do keep them very busy. And you know, so maybe it's even hard to find time to sit now because you're constantly busy with your kids or at home cooking or cleaning. But you know, can you challenge yourself to do that for a little bit? Can you challenge yourself to sit still and sit with those feelings? Nikki, I'm in the same boat. You know, I I struggle sitting with my feelings sometimes. You know, while I have the recognition that I've grown and have a lot of, I have much more self awareness than I used to. I'm very confident in that today. But there are times where it's really uncomfortable for me to sit with my feelings. Hence, part of the reason why I keep so busy, busy, busy. You know, there is a little bit of method to the madness. You know, I intentionally keep very busy because when I get home at night, I'm kind of left with myself, and you know, the reality of life sinks in, and um, you know, I'm left with those feelings, and sometimes it's really uncomfortable. For those of you that are in recovery, you know, take away all the substances that we've numbed with for a long time, and we're left with ourselves. And sometimes we don't know what to do with those feelings. Sometimes they're new and it feels very foreign, um, and it's hard to sit with that. So the way things are right now, like I said, the universe is all forcing us to slow down and to sit with those feelings. And by doing that, by making ourselves do the action that is uncomfortable and foreign to us, you know, that is growth right there. I love that. Nikki says that perfectly right there on her billboard. Even while sitting, you're still growing, right? Because we're doing something that's different. We're doing something that's completely outside of our comfort zones. Um, and by doing that, that's where we grow. You know, we don't grow in our comfort zones. We have to step outside of that. I love that. So keep writing in, guys. I love these. This is a great conversation today. So I want to hear, for those of you that are maybe just joining us, what would go on your billboard? If you could have a billboard anywhere that would be advertised to millions and billions of people, what would your message on your billboard be? Anything that comes to mind, any quotes that you like by other people, or anything that you can come up with yourselves. Write in. I want to hear what would go on your guys' billboard. Kiera says, I hate this time. I'm going crazy at home with my kids 24/7. I'm just going crazy not being able to leave my home. I'm extremely lonely, and it's not going to go away till this is over. Yeah, that's really tough, Kiera. I'm sorry that you're, feeling so low about that right now. That must be really hard with, having your kids home all the time. I can only imagine, and, I sympathize with you. Um, but what I've learned during this crazy time, like, yes, we're not supposed to be leaving our homes unless absolutely necessary, or, I'm not going to get into that whole topic, but, by staying home, that is the responsible thing to do. But it is very difficult for people, right? You guys are being open and honest, and I appreciate that. It is hard. A lot of us are going crazy sitting at home, whether you have kids or not. It can be lonely, and this is going to go on a lot longer than any of us expected, and that is really challenging to sit with. Lisa put the hashtag acceptance. I have to practice acceptance every day. That's another good thing to go on a billboard just by itself, acceptance. Um, but we're still able to find ways to connect, right? So we've all got to get a little creative at this time. It is lonely, sure, not having like actual physical human interaction besides the people that we're quarantined with, or our animals. But we've got to get creative. We still have the opportunity to stay connected. Those of you who are watching right now, you're connected with me right now. It looks a little bit different. Those of you that are tuning in to John every morning, and Kirsten midday, doing a workout with Lisa later, Yana's wonderful words of encouragement every night. That's connection, right? You guys are still able to tune in with us. You're still able to see us and to hear us, and to communicate back by putting in your comments. It looks different, but that's still connection, right? So I encourage you guys to still keep an open mind, still stay connected. Don't let this thing defeat you. It doesn't have to. Please hang on to that hope. We're all going to get through this together, and it's going to be challenging. It's, typically it gets worse before it gets better, but we still have each other. We're still here. We can still connect. It doesn't have to be this big daunting task. It doesn't have to be so lonely. It's hard, and it's going to take a little bit of work on all of our parts, but we can still be here for each other. Absolutely. Holly writes in surrender, so that would go on her billboard. I like that. Kara writes in, my billboard would say just keep swimming by Dory. I love that. That is perfect. Now I'm just picturing Dory. For many of you have seen Finding Nemo, I'm just picturing her on the billboard saying that, just keep swimming. And how true is that, right? That's why I love like some of these quotes that are overused or that we hear so often. They work. They're simple. We're easily able to remember them that way. Just keep swimming. That's from a little kid's movie. But first of all, it's a great movie. It's hysterical and it's adorable. But second of all, like how easy is that to hang on to, right? It's simple. Just keep swimming. And that's all any of us can do every single day. Just keep swimming. Don't give up. Take one day at a time. And if 24 hours is too much for you to handle at a time, that's okay. Can you break it down to an hour at a time? That was my original thought for my billboard this morning, just having one day at a time up there. I was like, wow, that's too obvious, but you know what? Doesn't matter if it's obvious or not, because it's something that works and it's something that keeps me going, and maybe it's something that keeps some of you going, Danny says the kids are sitting with new anxieties as well. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I can't even imagine what it looks like from a child's point of view right now for some of the younger school age kids who are out of school right now and who are home constantly and, have a different perspective than their parents do or than the rest of us do. That's got to be really hard, definitely. Nikki says, video chatting has helped me so much during this time. I've never talked on the phone this much, lol, but it's nice to stay connected. The phone feels heavy sometimes, but it's well worth the wait. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. It is hard for some of us to pick up the phone, right? There's anxiety to that, and bro, where a lot of us spend, our time texting or just messaging. It's much easier to kind of hide behind that, so to speak. So sometimes it is uncomfortable to pick up the phone. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have never talked on the phone this much in my life. I'm finding myself on the phone, whether it is texting or calling, every single day, setting aside time for that. Um, and I'm also figuring out what works and what doesn't work. I'm exhausted being on the phone and being on Zoom and doing these videos all the time. Um, but I still love doing it. It's my way of connecting. It's my way of staying connected with you guys. Um, but I've also had to tweak that a little bit, right? We talk about getting creative or, having to be diligent about setting aside phone time and setting aside no phone time. I've had to do that. I've had to put down the phone for a little while and just say I'm done answering text messages and emails and videos for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna go play outside. I'm gonna go play with the dogs. I'm gonna go outside and color. I'm gonna pick up a book. Um, any of that stuff. So it's kind of finding that balance, right? That fine tune. How about the rest of you guys? What's gonna go on your billboard today? Put it in the chat. I love seeing these. There's some really, really great stuff going on here today, guys. I hope everyone's been able to get outside and enjoy the days that do have the sunshine. It is so nice. It's so mist. It does feel really good just to sit out here and, stop and smell the roses, so to speak. Um, it's kind of nice to be able to practice that mindfulness. I love being outside. I really do. But can I sit outside without my phone or outside of this video? Can I sit outside without any technology and just sit and be? Can I close my eyes? Can I soak up the sunshine? Can I feel the breeze on my skin? Can I pay attention to the noises that are around me? The birds, the traffic passing by. There's like a farm of cows over here. They make noise. So can you pay attention to your surroundings? Can you just sit and be present? Can you sit in total silence besides, the external noises? Can you sit in silence with yourself for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? If you're feeling extra challenged, 20 minutes, 30 minutes? It's all about just practicing mindfulness, and in doing that, it really helps us just to stay grounded and stay in the moment. If I'm worrying about what's going to go on later today, an hour from now, 2 hours from now, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, what the rest of 2020 is going to look like. If I'm spending all my time and my energy focusing on the future, I'm missing those little moments. I'm not able to stop and smell the roses. I'm missing the roses because my focus is elsewhere. So that's my challenge for you guys today. I would love for you to take time for yourself after this video and maybe write it down, or if you're creative and you're artsy, can you take a little index card or a piece of paper and can you create your own billboard? I would love to see people post pictures of that. Get creative. You guys got some downtime? You guys have kids? Help them color. Have them create their own billboard, and you can create your own billboard. What would your billboard say? Or if you don't want it to have any words, draw a picture. Do you want to draw a Dory on your billboard? So I encourage you guys to get creative. Spend some downtime just having, just having some thought-provoking conversation with your internal self. Can you be present for a little while, and can you make it fun? So I would love to see that for some of our followers out there. Can you guys create your own billboard? Draw us a picture, write words on your billboard, put stickers all over it. If you have kids, I'm sure that you have stickers somewhere in your house, probably all over the house actually. Pull out the markers, get crafty. It's really, for me, having that creative side, it is nice to sit down and find time to color periodically. And, for me, that's just one of those ways that I can just let go of that stress and it just kind of melts away and I'm able to just be present, whether I do it in silence or whether I put on some good tunes to jam out to. Take that time for yourself. Give yourself a little project today. So I would love to see some pictures of your guys' homemade billboards. And, yeah. So I will be back here at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I will always continue to encourage you guys to please reach out if you're struggling. If you know anybody else who's struggling right now that maybe hasn't seen these videos or doesn't have access to Facebook, you guys can find this stuff on our website as well. It's rockcoveryfitness.org. All of these videos do save, and we are continuing to post them on the website, or you can go back in through the on our Rock Recovery Fitness Facebook page and find all the old videos for not only mine, but everyone else's too. So if you're struggling, please reach out. Don't hesitate. We're here. You're not a burden by any means. We want to connect with you guys. We want to hear from you guys. We want to see your faces. Right now it has to be through the computer, but that's okay. We still want to connect. So please reach out. And please continue to tune in for our virtual videos. We've got another workout coming up today at 3 o'clock. And Yana's going to be on later tonight around 5:30, giving us some words of encouragement and some of her thoughts going on with everything. And so I just hope that you guys can continue to tune in. This has been a new experience for all of us, and we're trying to get creative too and come up with new ways constantly that we can stay connected with you guys, stay connected with our recovery community. For those of you that are in recovery or really struggling with that, please connect with us. We are still offering our peer mentor services. We will get you connected with a peer if that's what you want. So please reach out. We're here. And hang on to that hope. And I want to see your billboards. So create some beautiful art for us and post it. Share it to our wall. Share it to your own wall. I would love to see it. So I hope you guys have an awesome afternoon. Hope you can enjoy that sunshine a little bit. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.